Hello, everybody. This is Max Farrell. This is dexfxcopy.com, and today is March 9th, 2018, and this is your daily update. All right, everybody, let's get started right away. I'm excited, I'm sad, I'm elated, I have all these emotions happening right at the moment, but I want to let you all know, one, what has happened, two, what's going to happen, and three, some information about what today is. All right, so let's talk about what the heck has happened. Well, first and foremost, the East Coast got hit by another nor'easter, and usually I'm a big fan of redundancy. Okay, when we got hit with a nor'easter here about a week ago, it was a super windstorm. I mean, 50-mile-an-hour winds, trees were flying. I saw a lady fly by the window on a bicycle saying something about a dog. It was terrible. I mean, terrible. And we lost power for like 3 hours. It was the worst 3 hours ever because you don't have a computer. No, seriously, we lost power for several hours. Didn't think much of it because in this area that I'm at, we're known for the resolve of the electric company. It is so they're sick. They power goes down or something happens and boom, they got a crew out there and killing it. But with as much damage as that happened a week ago or almost a week and a half ago, they weren't prepared for another storm to roll in. And when that did, of course, everything went down. Now, normally it's only down for a couple of hours, but in this case, we were down for 3 days. Now, what happens to my little world? Well, my world is set in an office that's inside my house, inside the town. So when my house goes down, my office goes down. When my office goes down, I have redundancy that things will be that will trade automatically, that will continue to move on. But my connection to them is flawed. And when I say flawed, is that I could still connect to them via phone to a degree, but I can't make the decisions as I normally would if I was sitting on my computer. Now, I've since rectified that and have created a little mini connection, if you will, with a nice little powerful laptop and a hotspot remote access that can probably surf the internet really, really strongly and even trade at that point. And I found accesses to each one of the servers and systems via a phone connection that isn't even a third redundancy in there in case anything ever happens. Okay, so that's basically what happened with my house last night or this morning at 12:30 exactly. The power came back on after I had gotten a generator to sort of save everything for the house. So that's said and done. Now, we are back up and we're ready to go. So that's what's happened. So we got that checked off. Now, what is going to happen? Oh, wait, let's talk about what's happened with the market. Let's look at the network itself. We did take a small hit, of course. You're probably used to hearing this, the small hits, especially after this week. This week has been very marginal. We took this pretty nasty hit, but we kept we kept strong. Okay, we battled back and forth, and if you look at the history on the Max Prime, this is what portfolios do. Okay, this is what portfolios do. Portfolios are not, like I've always said, just one straight line up. If somebody's showing you that, they're showing you fake history. I'm showing you a managed portfolio process here. Okay, and this is what does happen. Now, the good news is, okay, folks, the good news is that with this new process and everything that's coming on board, it's off of old information. So we are going to be able to rectify, if you look at the Simply Forex process here, once we turn everything back on, okay, we're going to be getting back into the process of having these type of numbers on our system. Even the Dex Grinch that took the hits over the last couple of days, you know, we found this process here that happened with the Dex Grinch. You know, I didn't like that. I didn't like how far that Grinch came down. Now, again, we don't have this is what we call forward information, forward trading. And forward trading like this, we didn't have a ton of information. So we knew that we had a good high here. We were hoping that the pullback would come out right about here, okay, if it were to come back. But since it hadn't, I have to kind of look at why is the system pulling to this direction? What is affecting it in this process? Is it just a weekly thing, a monthly thing, or what have you? But if you look, this is from the 21st of February to March 5th. So this is a 2-week period of downtrodden days. So why was the Dex Grinch doing? Now this is a Dex Grinch at its fullest, okay, which we knew that it didn't have a great equity curve to begin with, but it had some awesome numbers in the process. Some numbers that are still doing okay are the Audi JPY, the Audi USD. No, that even failed here. Let me see if I can find another one. Euro JPY and USD CAD and USD JPY. But again, even with numbers like this, 52%, USD JPY, you're still not going to get a tremendous amount of pips per trade. Okay, that means that the pair starts to decline some. We're still in the positive, but the pips start to decline, you see? So 48 to 22, that's probably the best one in it. And so we had to kind of look at, even if we kept on the positive numbers here, would it yield us anything decently, especially if you have a bad set of batches, okay, bad set of trades that come over. You get the JPY that fails, 3 JPYs failed. So we had to sort of look at our process a little bit, okay? That in one bot, and here's where we'll go back to the not the drawing board, but the strategy board here, and have a look at if a single bot, let's say the Dex Grinch, has, let's just say, the euro yen, the dollar yen, and say the pound yen, okay, on it. This is catastrophe waiting to happen. And I won't say catastrophe, but I will say it's a downtrodden day waiting to happen. One bad yen news, okay, or one good yen news, whatever it does, news on the yen, let's just say, could drive the factor that if the trade has already gotten in, that's supposed to be a buy, and the news comes out and affects it to where it makes it a low, and 1 or 2 of these get on, especially with the Grinch, you could lose a trade. It effectively gets back in to say, okay, it's supposed to bounce back up because it uses a divergence process, and it would then lose the trade and then possibly lose a trade. Well, that could be a loss of 6 trades almost immediately. So what we have to do is protect our assets. So if we have a bot that has more than one base pair on it, Euro JPY and US JPY, we have to really look at the success rates together as a batch of the yen at a particular time. So are they failing together? If so, then I'm going to isolate each bot to have only one base pair. So the Dex Grinch will take the best Euro JPY. If it has the Euro JPY on it, whichever one's best, it's going to take the best out of the JPYs in that process, the best of the yens. Okay, and then of course on Simply Forex, if it has a Euro JPY, we have to compare it to the success rate of this JPY and decide whether to keep it on or put this Simply Forex on. Okay, but we have to look at it as well. Does it have a US? Does it have a dollar JPY on it? And if it does, we have to trade it. We have to look at it. It does, again, even if this one is better than this one on the dollar yen, we still have to find a way to create that availability there. Okay. Now, if we find them both failing at the same time, we have to then look in the portfolio. Do we only have one asset at a time? Okay. Which means, or one base asset trading at any one time. So the best of the JPYs and the best of the dollars and the best of the yens and the best of what have you, okay? So we have to kind of consider that as we go forward. Eventually what we'll get is the best of the best trading at a rate. Now, one of the things that I really do love about this process is that on the Vader, the USD JPY or USD CAD is sitting at 96%. And I'm going to be very, very, very transparent with you. I've never seen this before. Okay? I've only seen fake numbers for this before. I've only seen companies show me 96%, and then you get into it, and it's because they've hidden open trades with this process. It makes me sick to my stomach because I'm always on the outlook for something like this. This is the unicorn. right? This is the unicorn because the Vader trading at this level. This is an active trading process. So we're not saying that, as you see, look at this. So it may not be a lot of pips. USD CAD, right? That's 2 times in 2 days. So about once a day it's trading. Okay, 17 pips here. Another 5 pips here. In 3 days, how many times did it trade? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in 3 days that it's traded. That's a pretty good rate. Now, if I can isolate that process alone, it may not have a high yield, but it has something. And we can, what do we do when we have consistency? We simply add volume. And there we go. All right. Let's talk about a couple more things, and then I'll let you go here on your Friday. Speaking of which, today is the NFP, the non-farm payroll. If you don't know what it is, don't sweat it. Why? Because today is the biggest retail trading day of the month because it has a lot of news. And everybody thinks they're going to get rich on the NFP. Everybody thinks that they have some sort of scheme, some sort of process to trade the NFP. Now, before you want to know what all the NFP stuff stands for, the non-farm payroll and what it does and all that stuff, go look up some videos online. And I'm not trying to be lazy. I'm just telling you that I've done enough videos and enough process on this to know one thing's for sure, is that you can never consistently predict the NFP. If you can, you're no longer a retail trader. You are a commercial trader. And if you're watching my videos and you're a commercial trader, shame on you. All right, so the NFP has wild swings, up and down and up and down, and you could never really say, I mean, you can end up predicting where it's going to be in the overall end, possibly, if you really looked at history, you looked at the numbers, you had enough data, and you were to do that. But do any of you ever do that? And the answer is no. You never go that nuts into it. Because the moment you do, the moment that you say, hey, I think I got this, Murphy's Law is going to come in and kick you right in the butt. It's going to show you that you don't. Now, why is the NFP move so much? And I'm going to tell you right now what our theory is, okay, is that you come into the trade right around here and you're like, okay, well, I think it's going to be a buy position. Let me reschedule this. You come into the market right here, and your best prediction from everything you have, you hear all these people that say, wait the last 5 minutes, and whatever direction is going in from the last 5 minutes to 8:30 exactly is the opposite direction it's going to go in. So if it's going down, it's going to end up going up from there. So buying it exactly at 8:30 in the opposite direction where it came down from 8:25. That's a plausible strategy. The problem is you don't know what the thickness of the field of margin is. And what this means is this field of margin is like, how far is that system going to travel? If I get in here and just put a buy in, okay? If I put a buy in, let's just say 8:30, this is 8:25, and then this is 8:30. And I get in here and I put a purchase for a buy in. And let's just say it really starts to travel, okay? But it never just travels straight up, because what's going to happen is that it might end up above this number, but what it's going to do is that in the candlestick that you're watching, okay, this is all happening with inside the candlestick. I'm using a line chart to show you the reference, but really it's in a candle. So it would look something like this. Okay, and if you looked at this time period as, oh, okay, yeah, this was a bull candle. Okay, this is where it started, this is where it ended. It's all right. But what you don't realize is all this nonsense on the wick or the shadow, whatever you want to call it, okay, look like this. Okay, it looked like that. Now, the reason why it looks like that is because the commercial traders are driving this market, because you get in here and this may be 40 pips. Okay, this could be 40 pips and this could be 40 pips. Everybody gets 40 pips. We're the Oprah of pips today. Okay? And so this could be 40 pips. But can you afford a 40 pip stop loss? Did you know it was going to be 40 pips? No. And so what do? Is that you come in and you say, all right, it's going to be a buy. I'll set my stop loss here at 20 pips. And what does it do? Comes in for a second, then drops like a stone. It gets super close and stops you out. And then it goes on. So you got stopped out. Some of you traders that come in and you're like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and give myself 50 pips or 30 pips. And the next time you learn, I'll do 50 pips, but then the next time it's 60 pips. You never know where the extent of this. You might know where it should end up at the end of the day, and maybe that's where your trades go, you know, but you got to give yourself a wide field of margin to be able to make it work. And most as traders, we get in at a point and it starts to go against us and we get scared and we get out, or we force our trade out, or we set our pips too close because we think it's just going to come in and just zoom off up top and we're going to make our money. So I found out one thing's for sure. The NFP is not for me. Okay? That's what it should be called, be NFM. Not for me. So the NFP is not for me because I don't want to be bothered. I'll use it as a day off. I turn off the bots, or I turn off the main system bot. I let the other bots trade. I let the other bots trade because it will show me that success rate. Hey, if I get a bot that becomes a unicorn and depicts that, I check it every day. I check it every NFP. What bots survived? And did they survive last month? And the month before, and the month before, and the month before. And not one single one has survived consistently through the process. In fact, they usually end up breaking even or even less. They fall down below. Now, it does affect our numbers directly. So I kind of pay attention to those things as well. But keep in mind that this is all about data and that information. All right. Well, lastly, let's talk about what we're referring to as the consolidation. Some of you heard me say last week that it was going to be one of our last videos. Today is our last dexfxcopy.com update on dexfxcopy.com. Over the weekend and starting on March 12th, I am going to be putting together all of our systems into one system, and this is going to be called DexTrader. Now, the reason I am doing this, now I know some of you are like, well, I just came over from DexTrader. All right. I know some of you are going to be saying that. And I know some of you are like, well, I don't know what DexTrader is or what have you. But don't worry about it because we're going to create you the profile. We're going to send you the login details. We're going to get we're not just going to shut DexFxCopy off. We're not doing that. In fact, this is going to remain here. And then when you go to buy in, you're going to be taken over to DexTrader. But the ultimate process here is to get everything under one roof. Why? Because poor Max, I hate to talk about myself in the third person, but poor Max is sitting in an office running dextrader.com, dexindicators.com, and dexfx.com, and trying to go between three websites, sit in a chat room on three different chat rooms, sit on the customer service, do consults, and there's no way that I can keep up that mentality. But what I can do is that I can put everything under DexTrader, okay? And you guys can be in a chat room. The chat could be on. I could have my consult window up on the one site. I can have all my trading stuff up on my other site, and that's it. So customer service is going to be made a lot easier because it's just going to be one site. Purchasing is going to be easier. There's going to be some all-inclusive packages, which are going to be great. Here, let me explain to you one of them, okay? If you are a DexFX member that purchased the process in the very beginning, DexTrader has you're all getting the all-in package, okay, for the system. Now, under trading, so there's two versions of trading over on DexTrader. There's Nadex trading and Forex trading. All of you are getting everything for Forex. That's the Simply Forex strategy, and also the Simply Forex bots. So all the bot trainings in there. You're getting all of this for whatever you're paying right now. Okay, whatever you paid right now, you're getting that for. Now, if you want the Nadex side, you got to pay extra for that and all that stuff. But that's, you're not trading Nadex if you're over here trading Forex. If you are, there is an all-in package that's going to be on, I think it's like $197. But if you've if you've paid an amount to be here and you're paying a monthly amount, okay, let's say you're paying $47 a month right now, this is going to include that. Okay, so if you end up paying for this, you know, we have to work with you. You just got to call the office and we'll get you all set up. Okay, if you have any problems, just call the office and we get you all set up, or reach out to Amy, okay, through the process at CS customer service at dextrader.com, and she'll get you all lined out. Okay, now the other good thing that why we're doing that process is because this for advertising now is all going to be about one site. We're going to be able to do webinars. We're going to have daily webinars that are going to explain the processes of what we do. But we're also going to be doing updates. There'll be 3 major updates. One, for all of you dexfxcopy, right? We call this the DFC, dexfxcopy people. This is an update that explains to just you guys in the world too, I guess, but you guys get first crack at it. You see it first, okay? This will be the DexFX update for the Max Prime and what we're doing. Later on in the day, there'll be a what we call the Dex Trader series. Okay, this is our Trader's Mind series. Okay, and this is where we talk about new things that are coming out, or the process on how to trade, or the mentality of trading, anything to do with trading and the strategies. Anything in there is going to be under this Trader's Mind series banner on Dex Trader. Okay, and then there'll be the Dex Trader update for the Nadex side of it. Okay, so Dex Trader Nadex update will happen, I think it's every day. I have to kind of look. I think we're going to be doing that as well, doing it every day in the series. So I want you to take into consideration that we are an ever-growing company. And before we expand way too far out beyond our bridges, we wanted to make sure that we kind of pulled back and got back into consolidation to kind of help everybody. I hope this information finds you well. I hope that if you're on the East Coast, you have power back again. And if you're really, really excited like I am about this consolidation, you're going to get direct access to me a lot more than in any other time in history of Dex, okay? Because I'm going to be in that room while I'm working in that room every single day. And so there'll be, if there's questions to be answered or something that comes up or what have you, I'll be there for you, okay? We'll also be having within this DFC, the webinars that we'll be having twice a month or once a week, so 4 times a month. There'll be a group webinar for all you Max Prime people for this process. So you can ask questions, so we can look at the portfolio. It'll probably be on a Thursday, you know, before the end of the week, that kind of good stuff. All right? All right, guys. I'm Max Farrow. This is dexfxcopy.com signing off for the very last time here on dexfxcopy.com. You'll still get access to all of these videos and also any new Dex Trader or Dex DFC updates will also be in this same series button on Dex Trader. All right? You guys take care. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And as always, trade well.